My name is Natalie, and I will be sharing with you my final project book that I chose for this semester. My title that I read is called I Love You More, and this is written by Laura DuCosta and illustrated by Karen Kiesler, and it was published in 2007. And so to get started, I'm going to read the book for you. It says, walking outdoors one day, a little boy turned to his mother and asked, "Mommy, just how much do you love me?" Surprised at the question, but with no delay, she replied with a smile, "I love you higher than the highest bird ever flew. I love you taller than the tallest tree ever grew. I love you longer than the longest path ever wound. I love you prettier than the prettiest flower ever found. I love you mightier than the mightiest wind ever blew. I love you fuller than the fullest moon you ever knew. I love you brighter than the brightest star ever shone. I love you more, so much more than you've ever known." Then she wrapped her arms around him with all the love that she had, and he felt it all surround him when he gently whispered, "Know what, Mommy? I love you more. I love you more than anything in the whole wide world. I love you more than anything in the whole wide world." Then he wrapped his arms around her with all the love that he had, and she felt it all surround her when she gently whispered, "Know what, son? I love you more. I love you taller than the tallest giraffe ever grown. I love you more, so much more than you've ever known. I love you sweeter than the sweetest song ever sung. I love you higher than the highest swing ever swung. I love you freer than the freest kite ever flown. I love you bigger than the biggest bubble ever blown. I love you further than the furthest frog ever leaped. I love you quieter than the quietest caterpillar ever creeped." Walking outdoors one day, a mother turned to her son and asked, "So just how much do you love me?" Ready for the question, the little boy took her hand and began. And that is all of this book called I Love You More. I really liked this book, and I was really impressed by it because I think it is so very important that kids learn from, the time that they can really understand, or even before, that their parents love them, and that they know the value of that word, and that they constantly feel that. And I like how this book really emphasized just that deep connection, that deep relationship that the mother has already with her son, even though he's still really young. So that, I think, is what impressed me the most about this book, and that the son felt that love back towards his mom, which means they have, probably a really strong relationship, which I thought was really neat. This book is important because if kids don't feel that they're loved, or they don't hear it, especially from their parents, then that can, I think, cause a lot of damage, especially later on, because they'd never got that first love that they needed, and now they can't really show that to other people. They can't express that because they've never known it. So that's why I think this is very important for kids to read. From an educational perspective, really every age can benefit from reading this book. It's very simple, it's very practical, and kids, even as young as 2 years old, are going to be able to understand more than likely what this is saying. And so I would say, 2 to any age, basically, as far as developmental goes, to read this and understand this. Children of other ages, even teenagers, obviously they're not going to really probably prefer a picture book, but the concept that they would get from it would just be a great reminder. So even teenagers, I think, could benefit from hearing a lesson that has to do with this topic. So yes, thank you for listening to my story in my final project book review, and I will go ahead and do the handout and activities. Thank you for listening.